So today we got an awesome article from PokeBeach talking about Black Bolt and White Flare sets that have now been announced for the June release for Pokemon in Japan, which is also hinting at Black and White game remakes, similar to what we saw back in 2021 when they did Brilliant Pearl, I think, or Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, when they did those back in 2021. So awesome that they're bringing that back. And it does say we can now confirm that Black Bolt and White Flare will release on June 6th in Japan. So it's going to be a dual set, similar to like Snow Hazard and Clayburst, the same time like last year when we had those come out. And then also it says the dual sets are going to feature all 156 Unova Pokemon. As previously speculated, the sets will be headlined by Reshiram and Zekrom, so that's nothing new. We kind of figured that was going to happen anyway. But what it does say that is very interesting, and this is the one thing that's a little confusing for me. So now if they're regular sets, dual sets like normal, they would just be normal sets. But this is saying both sets will be enhanced expansion packs like Pokemon 151. Now the difference is these were 20-pack booster boxes instead of 30-pack booster boxes in Japan. So I'm very confused how this is going to work out, because this was a special set 151, but the Reshiram and Zekrom set is supposed to be a normal set release. So it's definitely going to be weird how the rest of this year shakes up. But we're going to take a look at what's going to be released, like the dates of the different sets in Japan, and what I personally think is going to be coming for the English sets, or what would kind of make the most sense. Now, it's not set in stone. Anything can change, obviously, because we don't have full press releases, but as of right now, a lot of this is speculation. But what we know for sure, Black Bolt and White Flare are going to come out on June 6th, which is super, super cool. I do love that. And then we do not know if they're going to be bringing any of the Legends of ZA stuff since they delayed it. I don't think they're going to delay any of this in the TCG. I don't think there's any reason for them to. So I'm pretty sure whatever the TCG schedule is, the same release schedule is going to happen, but I'm sure that there will be some cards from Pokemon Legends ZA, or any Pokemon that are themed in this set or featured in this set, in this game, to be featured in the Pokemon TCG in the year of 2025. So for that, I'm pretty certain. They did hint at Mega Evolutions coming back as well. At the very end of the trailer for Pokemon ZA, you guys saw the Mega Evolution emblem pop up. So if that's the case, I do think that this will come out sooner than later, or see some of the Pokemon from this sooner than later, because V-Star Pokemon are going to be rotating out very soon. I think actually the beginning of next year, when the new set comes out in March or April, whenever that release date is. I do think that's when we're going to see our next rotation, which would make the special attack of the current game go out of rotation, which means they would probably want another one to replace it, similar to what we had with VMAX attacks and things like that in the past, or you had GX moves back in the past before that. So typically a move that only lasts once per game, you're only allowed to use once per game, no matter how many Pokemon you have to do that. So I do think we're going to see stuff like that again soon. But again, they are hinting at the return of Black and White, and I think this would be phenomenal. These are two of the more popular games on the handheld Game Boy systems as well. Very, very popular. I actually think on the open market, like Black 2, I think Pokemon Black 2 or Pokemon White 2 was a very expensive, if you had it like all in box, like not necessarily brand new and wrapped, but I think it was a super expensive game. So definitely a very, very popular region for a lot of people. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the release schedule and what we know so far for the Japanese releases. And from this, we can kind of speculate on what we're going to see in English, depending on how they want to format it. Now, the fact that they're saying that those are going to be those special expansion boxes does make it a little confusing to kind of dial in what we think is going to happen, because we typically don't see that in regular sets. We only see that for special sets with less packs in those booster boxes in Japan. So next week, we have Terrestrial Festival coming out on December 6th. Everybody knows that. And that's going to be the Japanese counterpart of Prismatic Evolutions, which we get here in English mid-January. So like January 17th is when we're going to be getting that. But then the next Japanese regular set release after that is Battle Partners, that is going to be on January 24th. And you have 3 months of releases all back to back to back. You have January for Battle Partners. The 2 decks aren't really a full set. That's just a starter deck that's going forward for Japan. But then in March, we have Heatwave Arena. And then in April, on April 18th, we have Glory of Team Rocket. Now, me personally, what I think is going to happen here is that we're going to get Battle Partners, Heatwave Arena, and Glory of Team Rocket in one set in April. That's realistically what I think. But the other 2 possibilities that can happen here are the Battle Partners and Heatwave Arena are our March set, and it comes out in March aligned with this date. And then instead of doing like a later in June set release, they can do pre-releases in May and then do an early June set release, combining both the new set that they're going to be doing Black and White and the Glory of Team Rocket together. But again, that is still very awkward because that's leaving like a month and a half of time after this is coming out in Japan. And what they've been working on lately, it seems like they're trying to get those releases closer together than being a month apart, minus the special sets. Like Terastal Festival is like a month and a week and a half. So I think actually it would be kind of close if they're following this same release schedule. But I think most people are hoping that the Glory of Team Rocket isn't going to be a mini set. We want that to be part of a full set so that it's not just super easy to complete. So obviously the demand, for those of you that are collectors, you guys are going to want to have to hold some value in that, things of that nature. So I do think that there's a lot of speculation right now. But me personally, what I am hoping for is that we see all three of these sets, Battle Partners, Heatwave Arena, and Glory of Team Rocket together in April for like an early April set, late March set, to do that rotation. And if that's the case, hopefully we see a new attack in there so that when V-Star rotates out, we're going to get another move set to rotate in. So that, to me, that's really important, but super excited to see them going back to some of the other areas. I'm also hoping that the following year in 2026, I know that's way down the road, I'm really hoping that we see a Celebrations type set, like throwback to Gen 2, because I think Gen 2 doesn't really get a ton of love, and I think like after it's a certain amount of time, they maybe want to start rotating those. So like a Neo era reprint kind of deal, or a Neo era inspired set would just be so amazing for the 30th anniversary in 2026. But Glory of Team Rocket, again, April 18th, and that's all the information we have that's going to have a Rockets Mewtwo. We did get told that there's going to be no dark Pokemon, quote unquote, like listed dark Pokemon, just owners Pokemon in that set. So me personally, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for those three sets together, and then hoping that Black Bolt and White Fair plus one other set will make up our June, mid-June, middle of June, beginning of June set. So that is what I'm personally hoping for with this staggered release. But some awesome information today. I'm glad we actually got some new info on the releases for that. So we do know that that could be ruled out for the June, or not for the June, but for the March release, because originally a lot of people were curious if Heatwave Arena was going to be part of that, because Reshiram is fire type also. So I think a lot of people were curious if that had anything to do with Heatwave Arena, but it does not. So it looks like it is completely separate. It is not related. So completely different set. So that's good that we know now that it's completely different and it's not going to be tied into Heatwave Arena. Now, there could potentially be cards like Reshiram or Zekrom in these sets, but it's not going to be based solely around this. That's what we're looking forward to June. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you guys got some information. Let me know if you're hype, if we're going to get a black and white video game remake. I'd be super excited about that. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see y'all later this week on the live stream, and I hope you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving and a fantastic holiday.